Hello students, welcome to the SRBPS virtual classroom program. I am your biology educator Prerna Rathi.
So students, let us start today's class. Today we will be starting chapter 2, that is biological classification. In today's class, we will be dealing with biological classification, the 5 kingdom system of classification, kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. Let us start with the history of classification. The earliest classification was done by Aristotle. What did Aristotle do? He just observed the morphological characteristics of organisms and divided them. Like he classified plants into trees, shrubs, herbs based on their height. In case of animals, he divided them into two groups based upon if they had red blood or if they did not have red blood. Later on, Linnaeus classified the living world into the 2 kingdom system, which considered kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia as the ultimate classification groups. This system does not distinguish between the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic, the unicellular and the multicellular, the photosynthetic and the non-photosynthetic organism. So again, there were certain problems with this system of classification also. Then the 5 kingdom system of classification came into existence, which was absolutely helpful. It was given by Sir Robert Whittaker in the year 1969. It had for him the kingdoms defined by him were Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. The main criteria or the basis of his classification was the cell structure, the thallus organization, the mode of nutrition, the mode of reproduction and various phylogenetic or the evolutionary relationships between organisms. All the prokaryotic organisms were grouped together and kept in kingdom Monera. So prokaryotes did not go anywhere except Monera. Then eukaryotic but unicellular eukaryotic were kept in Protista. Then multicellular eukaryotic were again divided into fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Kingdom Protista has brought together Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, which were earlier placed in algae and was thought to be plants, but later on they were found to be Protista. Paramecium amoeba, which was in Monera. So this classification was much better as it classified the organisms properly. It has put together organisms which in earlier classifications were placed in different kingdoms. दूर दूर रखे थे लेकिन एक ही क्लास से बिलोंग करते थे, वो साथ में आ गए, और जो एक ही क्लास में रखे गए थे लेकिन अलग अलग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स थे और अलग अलग क्लासेस को बिलोंग करते थे, वो अलग अलग क्लासेस में चले गए. So the 5 kingdom system came out to be a success. It considered the following 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. Let us start with kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera mainly comprises of bacteria. As you can see in the diagram, different shapes of bacteria. Cocci, that is round, bacilli, that longitudinal, then there is spirilla, that is spirillum, then vibrio, comma shaped. All these are different shapes of bacteria. Bacteria mainly comprises of kingdom Monera and they are most abundant microorganisms. Every surface that you touch and every surface that you don't touch has bacteria in it. They live in extreme habitats. They can be present in hot springs, they can be present in deserts, they can be present in snow, they can be present in deep oceans. Many of them live in or other organisms also as parasites. They are dependent on other organisms for their food, so they are parasites. Bacteria are further grouped under 4 categories based on their shapes, as we have already discussed. Coccus, that is spherical, rod shaped, bacillus, comma shaped, vibrio and the spiral spirillum. Some of the bacteria are autotrophic because they show the presence of chlorophyll. They can synthesize their own food using the process photosynthetic, that is if they use sunlight, or they can be chemosynthetic if they produce food by chemical synthesis. A vast majority of bacteria are heterotrophic in nature, that is they cannot prepare their own food and are dependent on other organisms for their food requirement. The Monera has been further categorized into Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Let us discuss one by one. What is Archaebacteria? These bacteria are Those bacteria which live in most harsh habitats such as extreme salty areas, halophiles, name is called halophiles, बहुत salty environment में मिलते हैं. hot springs यानी गर्मी में मिलने वाले thermoacidophiles, marshy areas में मिलने वाले methanogens. Methanogens are anaerobic bacteria, इनको oxygen की requirement नहीं होती for respiration. Archaebacteria differ from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure. The cell wall structure is different, which allows them to survive such extreme weather conditions. Methanogens are present in the gut of several ruminant animals, like in the gut of cows and buffaloes, wherever there is no oxygen and anaerobic respiration. So basically they would produce methane or biogas from the dung of these animals. So that is how we establish the biogas plant. Next is your eubacteria. Now just remember, forever in biology, the term EU stands for true. Wherever we use the word pseudo, that means false, and wherever we use the term EU, this means true. So eubacteria are true bacteria. They are characterized by the presence of a proper rigid cell wall, and if they are motile, they might show the presence of a flagella. Some of these can fix atmospheric nitrogen by specialized cells known as heterocysts. They have special cells called heterocysts. Example of nitrogen fixing bacteria are Nostoc and Anabaena. They play a very great role in the nitrogen cycle, in the phosphorus cycle, iron and sulfur cycle. Heterotrophic bacteria are most abundant in nature, that is, they don't prepare their own food. The majority are important decomposers, that is, they break down complex food material or organic material into simple ones. They help in making curd from milk, production of antibiotics, fixing nitrogen in the leguminous roots. Some are pathogenic, that is disease causing in nature, which cause disease to human beings, to crop, to farm animals, to pets. For example, cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker are various bacterial diseases. Bacteria grow mainly by the process of fission, that is 1 divides to 2, 2 to 4, like that. Sometimes under unfavorable conditions also, they form spores. Spores allow them to survive under unfavorable conditions, and as soon as the favorable conditions will appear, the spore will burst and lead to germination of the entire bacteria. They also reproduce by a sort of sexual reproduction by adopting primitive type of DNA transfer, that is called conjugation. Two bacteria will come together and they will exchange they will combine the genetic material. This is called conjugation. Fine, as you can see, this is the conjugation process. The bacteria are dividing, cell membrane, cell wall, DNA you can see. The mycoplasma are organisms that completely lack the cell wall. They are the smallest living cells. They are monorans. They are the smallest living cells known on the earth, and they can survive without oxygen. Example of mycoplasma are PPLO, pleuropneumonia like organisms. Let us now discuss the kingdom Protista. All single-celled eukaryotes, single unicellular organism and eukaryotic organism are kept under the category of Protista. The members of Protista are primarily aquatic in nature. This kingdom forms a link between the other dealings with plants, animals, fungi. So it is a link between the monorans and the others. Fine. Being eukaryotic in nature, the protestant cell body contains a well-defined nucleus. Eukaryotic, EU, true, carry on, nucleus, a true nucleus is present. Protistas reproduce asexually and sexually by process of cell fusion and zygote formation. It has been further divided into chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, protozoans, slime molds and euglenoids. Let us discuss all the 5 protistants one by one. Chrysophytes, as you can see the examples also. This group includes diatoms and golden algae, which are called desmids. They are found in fresh water as well as in marine environment. Diatoms are also found near the window sills and everywhere where you can see like an ant hill is formed, those are diatoms. Fine. They are microscopic and float passively in water current. They are very small and they flow wherever the water takes them, they can go. They have no wish of their own. Most of them are photosynthetic in nature. Can you see the example? There is Triceratium and Pinularia. Both of them are chrysophytes. Then we have dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates क्या होते हैं? These organisms are mostly marine and photosynthetic. They appear with different colors, yellow, green, brown, blue, red, depending upon which pigment is present. The cell wall is very stiff and it has cellulosic plates. It is a rigid cell wall. Most of them have two flagella. Very often there are red dinoflagellates called goniolates, which undergo rapid multiplication and they cause red tides, as you can see in the diagram. Also, it is a very beautiful phenomena to look at, but it is very fatal. They release certain toxin which kill the marine life, the fishes right below it. So red tide might be beautiful to look at, but it is a very dangerous thing. Next we have euglenoids. Euglenoids are freshwater organisms found in stagnant water. खड़े पानी में मिलते हैं लेकिन fresh water, salty water नहीं होना चाहिए. Instead of a cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer called the pellicle. The outer layer is called pellicle, which makes their body flexible. So instead of cellulose, there is protein which provides flexibility. Though they are photosynthetic and in presence of sunlight, when deprived of sunlight, they become प्रेडेटिंग इन नेचर एंड हेट्रोट्रॉफिक. अगर सनलाइट मिलेगी तो खाना खुद बना लेंगे, नहीं तो किसी और से ले लेंगे. इंटरेस्टिंगली द पिगमेंट्स ऑफ यूग्लोनॉइड्स आर आइडेंटिकल टू दोज ऑफ द हायर प्लांट्स लाइक क्लोरोफिल A, B and D are present in it. Then you have slime molds. What are slime molds? These are saprophytic, that is feeding on the dead and decaying organisms. Saprophytic protist. The body moves along decaying twigs, leaves engulfing the organic material. Example of a slime mold is Plasmodium. So it will digest the dead and decaying trees. Then we have the protozoans. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predators or parasites. They cannot prepare their own food. They'd either be predators or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. There are four major groups of protozoans. The amoeboid protozoans, which are found in freshwater, seawater, moist soil. They move by movement of the pseudopodia. Like amoeba is an example to capture their prey. Fine. Entamoeba is another. Flagellated, which have a flagella on their surface. They can be free living or parasitic. The parasitic forms cause sickness like sleeping sickness caused by Trypanosoma gambians. You can see the diagram. Next are ciliated, which have cilia all over their surface. They are aquatic and they move by the help of the cilia, by the concerted motion of the cilia. They have a cavity called the.
I hope you all understood what I taught. I suggest you all make complete use of the YouTube channel to enhance your learning. So until next time, goodbye, take care.